It's 5:30, I'm on my way to a Starbucks. I could have taken the bus, but instead I'm gonna walk for 25 minutes. I'm going to Starbucks to get some emails done. Though I spent half of the day sending out emails back in the Airbnb, I just gotta get out of the apartment a bit and get some fresh air. Even though I'm gonna go running later, but I don't know, I just prefer walking for 25 minutes instead of taking the bus for 20 minutes. Did some laundry today, cooked, ate. I had absolutely no motivation to get up this morning. It got a little late because yesterday I was at an event until 2 a.m. in the morning. The interns of this group meetup called Home arranged an event for upcoming musicians to showcase their music. There were like a couple of people. Here's a short clip from there. It was kind of cool. Not all of the artists were really good. The second artists like sucked big time, but you know, I knew some people, so it was cool. Made a couple of new connections. So I got home kind of late and I was asleep by 3 a.m. Then I got up today at 10:30. Decided to look up websites and email addresses for the studios in New York because I've been here for almost 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks I'll be going to New York. So I gotta prepare my schedule and get in contact with the music studios, publishers, artists, labels and whatnot. This morning I was watching this interview of a guy called Goggins, and Joe Rogan interviews him. And Dave Goggins is this crazy, ripped, athletic, Navy SEAL trained guy. He's talking about his struggle from being this overweight person to becoming one of the top athletes in the world, doing these crazy marathons through Death Valley and 150-mile races, and holding the record for the longest marathon or longest run. I think it was above 200 miles that he did within 39 hours. That is absolutely crazy. Yeah, and he was talking about how a lot of people look for easy answers, and apparently a lot of people try and pigeonhole him as being this person that enjoys pain, and that he has some mental health issues or some crap, trying like to discredit him. I thought that was pretty interesting, but he keeps saying that you just gotta suffer to move forward, and that was kind of inspiring. I'll put a link in the video description if you're interested to see that. I highly recommend it. It's so awesome. It's about 2 hours, but it's really worth it. I would say I'm really guilty of looking for easy answers, because for a long time I would learn about law of attraction and things like this, and I was doing it for the music. I thought maybe, you know, improving mentally would help to make the music better, which is of course true, but it's not always easy to differentiate which one actually is applicable, which one makes sense, and how to apply the knowledge you're learning and so forth. But over time, more and more, I'm just getting into just doing it. I would spend so much time overthinking things, how I should do something, instead of just doing it. And as a result, I was getting really inactive and not getting much music done. Or the music I was doing was boring because I was bored. I had like no chance of getting into a flow state of making music, because I would always think I would have to do something extra so the music would be better, but that's all a lot of crap. And yesterday I was at a group meetup. It's called Balanced Breakfast, and a lot of artists, we were like 20 people, gathered to have conversations about struggles and advice, and you know, just exchanging perspective and information and so forth. So one person was asking, he's not really sure about whether he should go out and meet artists for his brand. He was looking to sign people, I think. If he should go to shows or if you should stay home and relax. People were kind of giving either or answers instead of mixed. Personally, I would always answer with mixed questions. So if they said, you know, dude, you just gotta relax, or dude, you know, it's all about the hustle. Of course, it's not either or. Maybe he should go out and meet other people. Maybe he should stay in. Like, there's absolutely no way to answer this like that. It could always be that maybe you're gonna be successful if you go out, or maybe you're gonna enjoy staying home. But this whole thing kind of implies that you're trying to get the most out of every situation. Like, what's so bad if you missed an event where you could have gotten something out of? Maybe you could have gotten something out of it, but does it matter? A lot of people were, you know, trying to get ahead, which makes sense. They have their businesses and so forth. Everybody wants to move forward. But a lot of people weren't, I think, asking the right questions. And I would throw in things like, you know, for me it's not as black and white. But it didn't really stick with around. I think we kept coming back to the same questions, just differently phrased. These conversations are based on that people are trying to get something out of music. So let me explain this. Why do I need to have a conversation about what's gonna make the best music instead of me just going into Ableton, my software, and making music? Like, why does there have to be some technique to get ahead? Because music is a lot about giving. If I put some things on a record that are uncomfortable sharing for me because it's personal, that's usually the thing that has value and people are gonna relate to. If I put something on a record that it just shows everybody, oh, I'm doing great and my life is dope, everybody's trying to do this, and it's not really something that somebody can relate to. So I think an answer is pretty easy to that. Just do your thing. But people would never really react to this. They would keep coming back to, what can I do to get ahead? It's almost 8. I'm on the way back to the Airbnb and about to go for a jog. And just to connect to what I said before, another thing that I said in the conversation was that a lot of artists that are famous and they made it talk about that they're depressed and they found out that all the money and fortune and whatever didn't make them happy. Not even that kind of connected with the people in the group, or nobody really replied to it, which I thought was weird because the conversation was kind of surrounding this whole topic. And what I said was that the idea of fame implies that you have to wait for others to approve of your music. Like, it implies that once you made it, people will think your music is good. But before then, that apparently is not the case. Because why do you need other people to like your music if you like your music? The whole fame thing is just about getting other people to like your music. And let's take a songwriter that loves making music, or a producer, or whoever, and that's all there is to it. I mean, they're probably not opposed to success or like to people paying attention to them, but look at people like Michael Jackson, or there's plenty of other people whose lives were totally wrecked by the music industry and the media and so forth. But I think we should know better than to chase something, because all there's ever gonna be is the person making the art and the art itself. There's no goal, there's no finish line. A lot of people were talking about how they wait to finally arrive, but then they couldn't really answer where they want to arrive. Because let's say once you're in the position of having arrived, like having made it, what then? Then you're gonna die, then you're just gonna burn your money, and then you're gonna die. Like, what's the point? always the best music comes out when somebody's not trying to get something out of the music. Because then they're always sitting in front of it, waiting for inspiration, waiting for like a little spark that lights up a chain reaction of ideas. I don't get what's wrong with just sitting down and making music, whether it's bad or good. I mean, of course you have to pay bills. That's something else. Once you can relax about my music has to be good, which is totally subjective thing, then the music is automatically good because it's honest and it's not waiting for other people's approval. But somehow that thing doesn't really connect with most people. At least that's my experience. I'd be happy if somebody proves me wrong here. And it wasn't like all people neglected these things, but I kind of expected more people to say similar things or to add on the idea and throw more things into the conversation and thoughts and ideas that go along this path. Yeah, most didn't, some did, most didn't. And I was the youngest of the whole group. Most of them are around the 30s, I think. A lot of those desires for fame kind of come out of expectations, apparently, as if it's supposed to be a certain way, or as if somebody's entitled to be famous. I mean, how are you supposed to appreciate the attention that your work is getting if you think it's supposed to be that way? That's the same as telling somebody that is maybe a little depressed or not feeling very well, that the person should appreciate things. Like I think that's crap, because it doesn't really work that way. In order to appreciate things more, you gotta go into the other direction. So in order to appreciate relaxation, you gotta go jog or work out hard for 1 or 2 hours, so you're totally wrecked, and then after you work out you go lie down and you're like, oh, this feels so good. You can't lie down and you're like, oh, this feels good. No, that's like you're trying to convince yourself about something, and it just doesn't work. I don't care what anybody says, it does not work, never. Otherwise it's just some fake stuff that somebody thinks they have to feel a certain way, but you know, there's no point in doing this. I watched another Joe Rogan interview with a guy that almost died, and he said that almost dying was a great experience for him because he used to be terrified of dying, and then like he had cancer or something. I'm not sure, but then he had a 20% chance of living, and then he actually lived. So from now on, not always, but like he says like 5 times a week he has this thought of, oh wow, this is not supposed to happen, like whatever he's doing, this is not supposed to be that way, I could have died. And that makes him change his whole perspective on things. So if an artist is like, I'm supposed to be famous, I'm supposed to have success because I think I'm good, that will only result in more arrogance and stuff like this. Or even if you're not arrogant, it just doesn't work. You're shooting yourself in the foot if you live that way, I think. It doesn't mean you're not ambitious, but I for myself just want to be ambitious in the present, like doing the best that I can do at this moment, and wherever the journey leads, it's gonna lead to. But I'm not gonna chase after something just so I can feel good for 10 seconds or a week or whatever in my life, and now I'm miserable. Like that seems like a pretty shitty deal to me. I'm back in the Airbnb and now it's jogging time. I run between 6 miles and /10 kilometers on average if somebody's interested. Let me know what you do. if any of you guys out there are jogging. But yeah, that's it for today. See you tomorrow.